Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Porch. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, just got done with GCW Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 8. If you've ever watched these Bloodsports, they can be very, very interesting. They're a little different. They're not your normal professional wrestling. They're more of a kind of a MMA slash boxing kind of deal. There's no ropes. There's no real, do dives or anything like that. You literally just stand there and fight. And it's literally a fight. The more blood, the better. You can only win by submission, knockout, or DQ. You can also win by referee stoppage. So we had 11 fights here. When I rated these, I rate them different than I do for just a normal wrestling match. Again, these are more about the striking and the submissions and all that in mat wrestling. Some of these, you might hear a star rating and be like, whoa, that's a big star rating. Yeah, but you know what? I enjoyed the combat of what this show was. A couple of these were really, really good. Most of these were pretty good. So to start out with, we had Masha Slamovich versus Janai. Masha Slamovich, she is a Russian brawler almost. She has been on multiple different wrestling independent companies, Beyond Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, GCW, name a few. Janai, she's been on several different shows as well. Matter of fact, she was actually on Glory Pro Cemetery Gates earlier today, the first show of the day. She lost a match against 2D Lin. So she come back in her second show of the day, the second show of WrestleMania weekend, the second show she's in. Masha Slamovich ended up winning by an armbar submission. I ended up giving it 3 star. It was a good bout. Next up, we had Janai Kai's tag team partner, Yoya. She one half of Yokai versus Ninja Mack. Ninja Mack is a Lucha Libre high flyer that normally wears a mask. He actually took his mask off for this match. This was a brawl between these two. You could tell there's times where Ninja wanted to do his flips and stuff he does. He just really couldn't. There's one spot here where they did a freaking dive on the outside. There's no mats. It's not WWE. There's no mats on the outside. It's just floor. They took a hard dive. Ninja Mack had a 540 spin kick and knocked out Yoya. I ended up giving it 3 1/4. Next up, we had Bad Dude Tito versus Royce Isaac. Royce Isaac, when I first saw him in Bloodsport, I want to say 5 or 6. I don't remember which one it was. I'm like, why is this guy in this kind of fighting atmosphere? He actually did pretty good. Bad Dude Tito's a big dude. I've seen him a lot on New Japan Strong. Royce actually ended up getting the submission by a rolling guillotine and was able to get Bad Dude Tito to tap. I give it 2 3/4. Next up, we had Slade versus Alex Coughlin. Alex Coughlin, part of the New Japan Dojo, LA Dojo. He's been a lot in New Japan Strong and Rev Pro. Slade, he's part of Beyond Wrestling. I actually was expecting a bigger fight than what these two guys had. Coughlin ended up getting a rear naked choke submission, Slade passing out. I give it 2 3/4. Next up, we had Johnny Bloodsport, John Hennigan, aka Johnny Nitro, aka John Morrison, aka Johnny Impact, aka Johnny Ultra. It's pretty much wherever he goes, his name is Johnny, that company. Rocky Romero was on commentary and he said Johnny Bloodsport, and the crowd started chanting Johnny Bloodsport. It was pretty cool. He went up against Simon Graham. Just typical kind of brawl with these two. Hennigan, Johnny Bloodsport ended up getting the referee stoppage by a rear naked sleeper, kind of a rear naked chokehold, kind of into a sleeper kind of deal. Zeda's Zhang versus Marina Shafir. How do I pronounce that? She was part of NXT. She was part of the Four Horsewomen in MMA with Jasmine Duke, Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. Marina got the submission victory. I give it 2 3/4. Next up, we had probably the first blood of the show. We had JR Kratos versus Timothy Thatcher. Kratos was the first one to bleed on the show. When he started bleeding, you could just tell it's like it fired him up. He had a clothesline from hell. I thought he was going to kill Timothy Thatcher in that clothesline. And Kratos ended up getting the submission victory. These two brawled for a little while as well. Ended up giving it 3.5. A guy new to this Bloodsport, Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Uemura from New Japan, part of the dojo with Alex Coughlin. Uemura ended up getting a submission by armbar. I give it 3 1/4. Jonah versus Josh Barnett. It was okay. It wasn't one of my favorite ones by no means, but it was good. You know, the show's named after Josh Barnett, so he knows what he's doing here. Josh Barnett ended up getting a referee stoppage after a heel hook, and Jonah getting knocked out. The bout of the show, this is probably the best one of the show. Biff Busick versus Jon Moxley. Holy shit. These two guys tore it up. They beat the living tar out of one another. We know what Mox can do in Game Changer when he's done in the deathmatch scene. It was literally, and we know what Biff can do in the ring in general, but these two just brawled. They got on the outside. I don't know if he legit got busted open or if he bladed, but Busick was bleeding like a stuck pig. There was one point where Busick was, Mox went to put Busick in the Steiner recliner. And it was almost, it reminded me a lot of Bret Hart and Stone Cold at WrestleMania, what was it, 12, 13? When Bret made Stone Cold pass out and Stone Cold bleeding all over the place. I thought they were actually going to do that finish. They end up not. Biff got out of that move. End up flipping off Mox and was like, yeah, and they just started chopping one another and beating the tar out of one another. Mox had a running knee on Busick, kind of a glancing blow, and then did it again. I mean, legit, it was almost B trigger S Omega, and literally knocked Busick out. Mox ended up getting the victory there. I give it 4. It's like, holy, I was just into that match. That was really freaking good. The main event was Minoru Suzuki versus Dirty Daddy Chris Dickenson. Chris Dickenson, his first match back in 6 months after injury. I was expecting more from these two guys. I thought there would be a little, not as much blood as Busick and Mox, but actual blood in it. I think there's a little bit possibly, but Dickenson ended up getting the victory. It was more of a kind of an elbow to the head, and Minoru Suzuki quit defending himself, so the referee called it. I give it 3.5. Great show. If this is one of those shows that you're on the fence about getting, get it. It is worth it. Definitely worth it. I know right now the first WrestleCon show, AAA, invades WrestleCon. Have it paused while I'm doing the video. So we'll get back to that, and I'll get that video up after that show. And then we also have Jilly Janela Spring Break 1 tonight. But yeah, there's like 100 and some hours of professional wrestling on Fight TV this weekend. So yeah. One of many, as always. Thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show. That's going to be the Game Changer Wrestling Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 8 review. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.